Welcome to Show Me Your News, the pinnacle for delivering and debating the gaming news that matters the most to you.
Rumor-filled gossip, hardware blunders, or upcoming releases. If it relates to video games, we want to talk about it.
I am Yoko, and I am going out east for a week for Christmas.
I am Super, and I'm going to be buried under snow.
Oh no, that's the lake effect snow.
It
Talking there.
is.
How much is projected?
A lot. I don't know the inches specifically, but it's supposed to be a lot. Enough for, I was talking to my own mother before the show, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go out and get a whole bunch of milk and bread because I don't know if we're gonna get out."
Oh jeez. Well, I mean, we're getting a really bad ice storm here later today too, so it's just that time of year where I like winter. I like the colder weather. I hate the precipitation that falls during winter so much, but that's neither here or there when it comes to the gaming industry. No guest today, and Tony is working his butt off. I mean, you got two jobs during, the holiday season. Dude's busy.
Yeah, unfortunately, right now he's sleeping.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Guy works third shift. We can't fault him.
That's true. And so we'll catch him, next year for a normal episode. It's because the next episode is the Show Me Your News Game of the Year Awards. And working a lot on that as we do every year. Definitely looking forward to that. I think it's going to be one of the best shows yet. So I'll be able to talk more about that during my soapbox. But our top stories today for episode 149 of Show Me Your News. On Sunday, December 21st, 2013, it's the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. The Smash update, a character from Super Mario Galaxy, and I know I'm very excited about it. Yes. Look at that, Super is too.
I know I totally called this on a previous episode. I just don't know which one.
We have to let's look back in the records for that one. Also, VGX was a thing. It sure was.
Wish it wasn't.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Nintendo Direct from a couple days ago, which revealed that Smash news and, of course, the other Nintendo news from that. We'll cover that.
And monkeys.
The hilarity of the week. Wii U mic cover accessory. Why
wait till you hear about this one.
Yeah, why is this a thing? Why does it look so dumb? And where is it used? I think you can probably already guess. We've got some stories in our story pool, games out recently. We'll get on our soapbox and end the show with YouTube video recommendations. But Super, it's been a few weeks, a couple episodes. Hopefully all is well now that your semester's over.
Oh yeah, I did it was very depressing reasons for why I missed the last episode. But that's neither here nor there. But it's been a while, and there have been quite a few games that came out.
Yeah.
And I've got my hands on one of them. Or two of them, if you want to think about mods.
So what are you playing then?
What am I playing? I lost so much time to Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds.
Yeah.
I had to keep closing my 3DS just so I wouldn't run out of power. I just played it in such long spurts. And I only saw the title screen once. Until after I beat the game, then I saw it again. That'll tell you how focused I was in playing this game.
How long did it take you?
That's a very good question. I know I only died once, and I was really unfortunate about that because I was pseudo babysitting at the time, and I put I'm literally fighting the last boss. And the little girl, she comes up, she's like, "You gotta play right here, right here." I'm like, "Oh, all right." And I'm doing that, and and then her mother comes down, and she's laughing because I have had this kid around me for the last 3 hours watching me play, and I have just about been everywhere around that damn room.
Yeah.
And it was a large room because she wants me to play it, and she wants to watch me play it, but where she wants me to keeps changing every 5 minutes. So I am
keep herself entertained somehow besides just the game.
Oh, I let her like swing the sword most of the time. I like not being on a small grid and having full 3D movement because I could avoid things because she'd press buttons. So I just had to prepare myself for that.
Prepare
But
yourself.
mhm. But at one point I was talking to her mother and I look back down and I'm dead. I'm like, "Oh, that's right. Pause is a thing."
Yep.
And so it runs through the thing at the end of the credits and says time's dead. I'm like 1. I'm like, that's good. It's good.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed. And it was after that I'm like, God, if only you could catch fairies in this game. But I've tried that and I've always failed. I'm like, didn't in Link to the Past you used a fairy net or something?
Mm-hmm.
So I walk up to a fairy, use the fairy net. And I'm like,
That
oh.
would have been good to know. Yeah. Yeah, I did
So
the
I
same
walk.
kind of thing.
Yeah, so I walked into the final battle with 2 fairies and some potions, and like 3 more hearts because I'm just like, well, I died earlier. I don't really know what's going on. But that was a great little fight at the end.
It was. It
Uh,
was.
the final hit against the final boss,
Yeah.
like it made me laugh so hard because like you don't expect that to work, but in the same token, during the first form of that part of the fight, that was the first things I tried doing.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I can't seem to get him. So if I try this, no, I guess that didn't work. So but it works as the final hit. So to each their own.
It was a clever little battle, and then nice little twists at the end of the story.
Yeah, I did not see that one twist,
Yes. Yes.
and bravo for that. I mean, I knew I'd see that character.
Mhm.
Did not expect him to be that character.
Yes. Right.
That was fantastic though. Honestly, I've always stuck towards Luigi's Mansion being game of the nah man Link Between Worlds.
Mhm.
I can honestly say Link Between Worlds deserves the game of the year, and it might not be the Show Me News game of the year because it came out so late, but
That the game did. Well, it's basically the runner-up as far as the finalists, though.
Right.
We had our 5 selections, and Link Between Worlds was next up, basically. So even for the little time that we had, I think
had
a
a
lot
showing.
of people gave it enough recommendation.
it had a good show. It had a good showing for the 1 or 2 days it was out before voting was closed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Other than that, I've played a little bit of Project M. I feel bad for Tony. He tried running it, but he has an SDHC card, not an SD card.
Yep.
So he has not been able to play it.
Need to have the 2 gigabyte SD card.
That's right, because it needs all the optimizations the Wii has for the SD card and not the SDHC.
Yep. Brawl came out before that SDHC update, so yeah.
Yeah, and so loving me some Roy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm loving me some Roy. There's a couple things I keep doing with him that I really shouldn't, like using UAir off stage. You will die
Yep.
every time. Use Fair. I realized I was watching Fair, and it's not the same arc as Marth's. Roy's Fair actually goes way above him when he swings his sword. So if you need to juggle above you, use Fair. I just love Roy in general. He's not that good.
No.
You get him off stage, he dies like a spacey, and he does not have the recovery. He doesn't have any options really.
But he's fun. That new Nair.
That new Nair is fantastic. Killing everyone with uncharged neutral B is fantastic. I use a lot of double-edged dance. It's fantastic. And one of the funniest things about this update is that I was super happy about Meta Knight. He wasn't changed at all.
Yes.
In 2.6, Sonic was trash. And so I just started playing Meta Knight, and I was really enjoying him. Everything about him. Like, everyone complains about his dare or something like that, and I just loved it. So when the Changeless came out, I'm like, all right, what'd they do to Meta Knight? What? How is he obsolete to me now? And I see no changes. I'm like, yes. He is perfect. And of course, Sonic got quite a nice buff. And I think I'll be taking tournaments again.
Nice.
Yeah. And other than that, I've been playing some Metroid, the original.
Ooh.
And for a long time there, I had no idea what I was doing. And I finally got so pissed off that I looked at where I was supposed to go, and I was right but there's no reaction. There's red barrier doors, okay?
Mhm.
I had no idea that you had to open them with 5 missiles. Not one missile, and
Oh.
it doesn't flash if you hit it with one missile.
So you didn't want to just waste them unnecessarily. Yeah.
Right. I'm just like, oh, it doesn't work. I need a different beam
See, yeah,
or
that's
something.
that's something that's probably would have been in the game manual, but if you just
Yeah.
pick it up and play it, that's unfortunate.
Which, the game manual does come with you on the 3DS, so I probably should have looked at that.
Uh,
But
uh,
that doesn't, I mean, that doesn't really excuse the no flash.
right. At least show
Um,
like it's doing something.
but actually, I mentioned that I brought up the map. That doesn't tell you how to open the doors.
Yeah.
How to open the doors? I was watching Game Grumps playing Super Metroid, and Aaron shoots 5 missiles at the door and take it open. I'm like, so if I try that, opens the door. I'm like, God! All right, all right, all right. I have a bomb now.
You got it.
I,
At least you
I
got
got.
it.
I still don't understand why there's no crouching in that game, but there's so many things that you can do in that game that you wouldn't think you'd be able to do on an NES. So some of the
Well,
control.
was it the morph ball? I think was only designed because they couldn't animate Samus, going down and crawling.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but yeah, I'm trying to work my way through that, and it's so hard.
Yeah.
Um, I'm getting killed a lot through doors. Apparently, if you go through a door and an enemy jumps in right before it closes behind you, or they shoot a projectile in it, the projectile will hang on Samus, and you'll keep taking damage until you go through the door.
Ah.
So, like, I'm at full health, and I'm gonna be all right. Get shot by something like a the weird lava seahorse shoots this ball, and it does a bunch of damage, and I walk out of there. I'm like, there goes half my life. I mean,
Game design time.
it was the first game. I'll give it a slap. I'm just hoping for one day that SNES games show up on the 3DS.
That would be really nice, right?
Well, Genesis games are starting to show.
Yeah. Now, the virtual consoles for both systems need more content desperately. Say what you will about licensing, but it's got to happen.
Mm-hmm. Especially first-party games.
Let's see. I was playing Tearaway last time, and I beat it shortly after the last episode. That's an adorable game for Vita. It's a perfect Vita game. It's one of the first games that you need a Vita for, and you really should. If you have a Vita or you need a Vita, like that's a game you need for your new Vita, because it uses every single thing that the Vita has to offer: front touchscreen, back touchscreen, front camera, rear camera, the gyro sensors, every little thing. And it's from the makers of Little Big Planet, Media Molecule.
That makes sense.
So it's all about creativity in this world of papercraft. And so you're creating own little things for the world, and the idea is your little main character there, you're controlling them to help deliver a message to the sun. And you are the sun. So, like, they have the sun, and your face, using the front camera, is in the sun. Like, little great designs. Short game, about 5 to 6 hours, but really worth it. Great experience on Vita. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, I put a lot of time in this game because
It's so much better than 3.
it is so much better than 3. You get right to the beginning and you're collecting things. You're in a big city and the world's open to you and you can be an assassin. And the ship combat is much better. It is a little tedious when you have to start grinding for items to improve your ship. But just overall, the gameplay is much better, albeit repetitive at points. But the improvement over 3 and just the pacing is astoundingly better. The real-life gameplay, you're an Abstergo Entertainment employee. So you are basically investigating, past lives for the sake of virtual reality games for this Templar company. And it's kind of a really weird meta story that has some tie-in, but overall, The story was not that great. It was good, especially when you could see certain things coming, like little twists at the end. And even then, the last sequence trophy or achievement is called "Saw That One Coming," because if you know the relationship of the protagonist, or sorry, the antagonist of the last game from 3 and the protagonist of this game, then you're like, well, yeah, that's going to happen. So I don't know. Otherwise, they're setting up for. Oh, I don't know how much I want to talk about because of spoilers. There was no holy crap moment at the end of this game, which was unfortunate. It's something you come to expect from the Assassin's Creed series. They do set it up for future games, certainly.
That's nice.
And there
I
is
thought they kind of dug himself into a hole after 3.
Yeah, there is something that they're kind of setting up with after 3 and the main entity that you released. So she's kind of in the networked world and waiting for those connections to become stronger before she can find a host body, essentially. Trying to keep it vague, but like that's the general story that they're trying to go with post this. But the gameplay was really good, especially it looked very, very, very nice on next gen. And for a very first game on next gen, and you think of it can only get better from there, there's some room to grow, and it's going to be exciting to see how it develops. And then they talk about Ubisoft, how they might have 2 Assassin's Creed games coming out next year, though they might delay it if it's not ready, blah, blah, blah. It wouldn't surprise me if one of them, they're including the Assassin's Creed Liberation HD, the Vita game that's being ported over to PS3 and HD for $20, and then they have their year-end game. So we'll see what happens there. Super Mario 3D World, probably the best Wii U game this year. I love Wind Waker HD, but just the gameplay in this game and the design choices there makes for a very, very fun time. A must play if you have a Wii U, Super Mario 3D World. And this is coming from someone who is not that good at Mario games. I've beaten the first 2 Galaxies and 3D Land, so it's really similar in that sense. But there are a few worlds of content after the final boss battle with Bowser, which that's a great boss battle there for this year. A few worlds of content after that, I may get back to them, but just as far as getting games done and with all the Game of the Year work here, I'm like, I want to get this game at least finished and maybe come back to it later. So yeah, Game & Wario, really quick game to beat, basically unlock all the single player worlds in the story there. It takes 1 to 2 hours maybe.
There's a story?
And yes and no. It just basically different, kind of like in Smooth Moves, where each of the Wario World or WarioWare characters have their own little thing going on, and it involves this mini game series. And so interesting ways to use the gamepad, but I think the best use of it was the Pictionary like 2-player game. That was a lot of fun to play with someone else. Using the gamepad to basically do Pictionary in a sense, and then the partner can guess, and you're trying to be collaborative with that. It's a lot of fun. Peggle 2 is out on Xbox One. I played that for about half an hour to an hour or so. I mean, it's one of those you get back to it and you play a little bit at a time, but it's more Peggle with new masters. What else do you possibly want? And it looks great. It plays great.
I don't know. I never played Peggle 1. So
Peggle it's a simple game to play, but it's tricky to master. You have all these different little pegs, and you're shooting a ball from the top of the screen. The idea is to clear all of the specially colored pegs.
I see.
And it's just a lot of positive reinforcement in the game. And then, I played Project M 3.0.
I heard you played a draft tournament.
I did, only after about an hour with the game because all the other games and just not as much time. played with Scott and friend Steve, Mark and I as well.
Right.
Scott had a pit who used the tools at his disposal, and I think I'm fine with Pitt's arrows having the damage. I'm fine with it having the knockback, but I think they got to do something about the reload time because
Too fast.
it's too fast, in my opinion.
I don't know. I learned a power shield. I don't know.
It makes for a frustrating time, and
It does, especially when you play day to day. But I heard that's what you use to kill him
that is what I use to win.
because waddles beat arrows.
The hammer.
That forward air is amazing. So.
Mm-hmm. So, no, it was fun. It's a great addition. They've added a lot of cool new things. I don't necessarily have the hang yet of turbo mode, but maybe with time.
I like turbo mode, but there are certain characters that just do much better.
Just become stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, Roy especially because, I mean, the fact that you can just side B cancel everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like side B. Okay, you shielded. Okay, I grab you forward air dash at you and do whatever I want. And if they're at higher percentages, side B cancel forward smash always hits every time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All good stuff.
All the time. But there are a lot of games I still want to play, but I just can't because of all the travel and the editing and all that. I mean, short games too. I mean, Walking Dead, episode 1 of season 2 came out. Gone Home, Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, and what's the other one that's really short? Stanley Parable. Like all of these games, like I have access to, I could play if I had the time. And I don't know if I'll be able to get to them this year. But
Well,
next
you got a laptop. Certainly, during some downtime during this week off, you might be able to play something.
I don't have a laptop though. I have an iPad.
Oh, well, I thought you had a laptop next to your TV. I could be wrong.
No, it's just a monitor for a desktop next to the TV. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I hope to next year have a MacBook Pro for work.
No, there's that.
So there is that, but
by this time next year, I wish to have a modernish computer of some sort. Right. That's my hopes and dreams.
Exactly. So we covered the Super Smash Brothers news on this podcast with our first headline, and we do that by covering the I almost said dojo updates. Sakurai, your Miiverse updates, they're fine. They're good, but we just miss the dojo updates. And
we miss real man news items.
I miss so many things. We've got a couple weeks of stuff to go through, and we at first thought that the bigger story would be the use of the assist trophies and how they're back again. Certain things like Skull Kid. Skull Kid's an assist trophy, and I think you probably disappointed some.
High HD Skull Kid, that was something to behold.
Yeah. I think some people were disappointed that he wasn't a fighter, but, what can you do? Mini Steel Diver as
a little funny.
A little item there. So go figure.
Nintendo.
Nintendo. He's a French bulldog.
Wow, such game.
Such game. Much bulldog.
Many in the way.
Many smash. And the Yellow Devil, probably I'm going to guess that's an assist trophy as well. I mean, that would make the most sense.
Oh, that would make the most sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Just have it.
Because he really just looks too large to be part of the stage in general as a stage hazard. Unfortunately, that's not... I don't think that's true, because the Yellow Devil does... I mean, he did have it released an update that says the Yellow Devil watches you from the castle during that thing, and then he leaps out. So, I don't think he's an assist trophy.
Sakurai, we don't need your stage hazards.
I wish... The main thing is, I just wish you could switch stage hazards off.
Yeah.
Switch. Just a switch.
That would be the smart thing. And then also, having Cap'n on the boat, beginning Animal Crossing New Leaf 3DS stage. That's nice. They did confirm that it was a town stage, so just there'll at least be a Cap'n portion of it for Animal Crossing there.
Huh.
More of the Spirit Tracks 3DS stage as well. What to say about that? Stages
I would say,
on wheels.
like, ever since we started.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So I was gonna say stages on wheels never turn out the best as far as popular play on them.
Well, that really depends, because I know a lot of people who really like Big Blue.
They are nuts.
They are a little nuts, but I still don't mind playing Sonic and just running.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. I mean, I hate the fact that you have to go bunny hood, but I haven't played Big Blue since Project
Big
M
Blue.
Sonic sped up.
Yep.
It's ever since he sped up. I want to see if he can run on Big Blue now.
That would be interesting to see. Then Sakurai was, he put out a tweet. He had this, Miiverse update that says, gotta catch Nintendo Direct today. And that was very true with Rosalina. You think that you called this character?
I'm pretty sure that I called this character on an episode because she's been getting actually, it was a recent episode too. I just wish I don't know if it was before the episode. I want to say it was on the episode, but it was the one shortly after. I think it was the last one I was on, maybe, because it was the one that announced that Rosalina was playable in Super Mario 3D World. So it was after that Nintendo Direct, and I know I've had to have mentioned that it's like I would say that she's on her way to Smash.
We'll have to have us go back in the archives and check that out. That'd be very interesting.
Somebody go look for that, because I know I had been behind Rosalina as a character, and I know I argued this for a while, and I'm not 100% certain, but 99% certain it took place on the show. So because I went over to my buddy, because we also talked about it. I'm like, yeah, I told you so. And he just kind of said, what? And I'm like, oh, you haven't seen the Direct yet. And we spent the next time looking at the Direct and laughing about Cranky Kong.
Yeah, showing that again, because that was so necessary.
Oh, yeah. But Rosalina...
Rosalina!
Yeah, just... I'm looking at this and just like... She's a puppet master.
Mm-hmm.
I was not expecting a puppet master in Smash.
I was watching the video surreptitiously at work, and
nice.
Iwata said, a game that you're looking forward to, something like, okay, it's Smash. But then I don't know what triggered my head, because we didn't see the little Fire Smash logo at the beginning of the trailer. That didn't play during the Direct. So when they're showing Rainbow Road and Kirby and Mario Karts, my brain started thinking like, wait, is Kirby in Mario Kart? And I started thinking of like the implications of what would happen if that were the case. If they were starting to add, Nintendo characters from outside the Mario franchise consistently into Mario Kart. And then you have the Galaxy Star and, shooting that, like, oh, well, that's Galaxy. But I was still thinking Mario Kart for whatever reason.
Because it was Mario Kart and it was Rainbow Road.
Exactly. And so it didn't surprise me to see Rosalina, because like, oh, it's Luma, Rosalina, and I don't know why I was still thinking Mario Kart. That thing hits where it says Rosalina and Luma
launch into battle.
I'm like, oh shit. like it took everything I could not to like visually react.
Oh, right.
While at work.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, my favorite character from the Mario universe is now in Smash.
Nice.
Like, I am so happy about that.
Oh boy, yeah. I just look at this and kind of go, Rosalina's gonna be that top tier character as long as she has a move that can kill reliably. Mm-hmm. This is a top tier character.
That down air looked pretty good for a Meteor Smash.
Yeah, it looked pretty good. Simply because having Luma do it means she can just kind of shrug it all off. She doesn't have to throw herself out there so much.
Oh, I was talking more of the I think it was she was against Link. in
Yeah,
that Pikmin stage.
Yeah, but there's an obvious disjoint to that attack.
Yeah. Well,
That's what I'm
the
talking about.
hitbox is like the ring below her.
Right.
So that'll be interesting. I think she pretty much showed off all her special moves, if we can infer that correctly. I think you could see that the neutral B is to summon a Luma. The side B would be to send out the Luma, and then you can follow that up with attacks as you wish. But to create the distance between the two would probably be a side B.
Right.
And I think down B is that defensive move to kind of draw the items closer to kind of create the natural shield to repel the Mario Flood attack. I think we saw all of her special moves there, and then the up B would be the to launch herself in the air.
I think the most interesting thing about her down B is that it really showcases how she's almost made for large, like 3 players or 4 players, because she isn't reflecting the move; she's redirecting it around her. So I just want to see that, like, with what I want to see is Samus's charge shot taken in by the villager who sends it out and gets it redirected in by Rosalina and hits Mario.
That'd be fun.
Or Mario capes it back, goes around Rosalina again, it gets caught by the villager who sends it back at Samus.
Well, it's good to see them doing different kinds of Smash fighters. I mean, we see additions like this, every Smash game, but we haven't seen a Puppet Master kind of character. We haven't seen a move certainly like that for the defensive options. It's going to be really interesting to see how she plays. And Rosalina seemed to have, enough strength on her own. You were showing the juggle combos that were possible, and that up air looked pretty nice, whatever kind of bicycle kick it was.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a kind of an catch your opponent in the air, a lot like Ness's forward air, where it's just like this large wall of magic in front of him. Side attack for Ness, but I don't think it's going to be a good kill move, but it's definitely going to be an interrupt your face.
Yeah. So the other thing, the one last thing that we couldn't really tell from the trailer, but it's going to be interesting to keep our eye on, the different colors of the Lumas. Now we saw yellow, we saw red, we saw green, we saw blue, and I think there was a white as well. Maybe. I'm not so sure on that last one.
Yeah. I didn't know about the red, but there was a picture of the day with the red one, so.
Right. So we're not sure if they change color based on their percentage, because the Lumas can absorb attacks, and after so much damage taken, they'll poof, they'll disappear. But as Sakurai even says today, the Lumas are infinite, so Rosalina can just always summon another one. So we don't know if the color represents damage level. We don't know if it's just you have a random color, and when she summons another one, it's a different color, just for superficial reasons. We don't know if the Luma changes color based on attack, or if that represents its attack strength. We just
or if that's even a finished thing, because it could just be right now it's random, but as they do alternate colors, each Rosalina might have a new Luna color.
That's true.
Luma color, which is what I think will end up happening in the end.
So
because
we'll keep an eye on that for sure.
Yeah, and her up B covers so much distance.
It does.
I'm just kind of like, wow, she is not going to be dying anytime soon, huh?
She's being shot out of a star, and gosh, that galaxy stage just looks gorgeous.
It does. It's a little unfortunate that in competitive play it's not going to be legal in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
It's a little sad in that respect, but I really like it. It's a pretty level.
Just very excited to see a newcomer arrive in the Smash scene, and there are still a lot of veterans still to be revealed. So I think we were surprised that we
this is the
newcomer there.
This is the first newcomer we've seen since Wii Fit Trainer.
I think so. Yeah.
That
sounds about right. So let's talk about VGX, because as we say in our outline here, it was a thing.
And we all know that we wish it wasn't.
Well, it's going to make for some good, I can already tell you it's making for some good material to write to for our Game of the Year awards. So at least it gave us that. Like the Loiter Squad for Grand Theft Auto 5 concert. And all of the random things that I don't even want to say that they were saying. That was dribbling out of their mouths.
It's not even VGA. I mean, it's the VGAs, but for some reason they call them VGX.
They were trying to rebrand it, was the thing. They were trying to make it an E3-like event that, airs worldwide. Game reveals is more developer-focused. Yeah, we get some awards in there, too. Here's the thing, though. I really enjoy Joel McHale as a host on The Soup. I enjoy him as an actor in Community. He was not the right choice to co-host alongside Jeff Keighley. If you know his shtick, it's the dry, sarcastic, openly taking shots at what he's doing, the network that he's representing. That's his thing. This was not the place for it, to still have these gamers in the basement, dumb sex change jokes, and it's like, I guess it was amusing to watch the train wreck in a way, and just to see him play the random question cards to Jeff Keighley's video game journalist reporting. It was just the wrong decision on Spike's part to make that call.
Yeah, when has Spike had a good decision though? I mean, no, literally. I mean, I haven't seen anything Spike's done that makes me go, man, I'm glad this thing exists.
I'll give him that having the developers be able to create their own little video for award receptions. I think that was a smart idea. Because Irrational and Naughty Dog, they made some great videos to accept their awards. It did create the Joel from The Last of Us, the Banderas little move that he did at the end there. That really
I didn't catch that.
That caught fire with NeoGAF. It's based off of a thing that Antonio Banderas did in a movie from the mid-90s. A little thing that he did, this little pose he had.
Huh.
Anyway, that was...
that's a game that I haven't played, and a movie that I've never seen, and a reward show I didn't want to exist.
Yeah, I think another really disappointing thing about it was just the hyping of these world premieres.
Yeah?
Jeff Keighley was saying that there were 3. And when 2 of them come from the same studio, maybe you don't have as much to work with as you're letting on. I get it. Telltale is a great studio.
Yeah.
They do great work with The Walking Dead. It's exciting to see Tales from the Borderlands. And for the Game of Thrones fans out there, a Telltale Game of Thrones game, that's going to be pretty cool as well. Telltale is having a good track record. The problem is when you say those are, 2 of your 3 reveals, it's losing your credibility. The third one, the No Man's Sky game from the makers of Joe Danger, looks pretty interesting. That might have been the saving grace of the show. But then when you also say that Reggie Fils-Aimé is going to come on stage to have, a world premiere sort of thing, we don't know what Reggie's doing. It's going to be a big surprise. I threw a blog up on our ShowMeNews.com site out of nowhere, debating the possibility, what if they show the next Zelda game for Wii U? I mean, and then
which really confused me considering what we saw in the Direct.
Right. I know, that's for sure. I mean, but I presented what would have been persuasive arguments, seemed to make sense at the time. And then Nintendo goes on stage and shows Cranky Kong in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which had leaked a few days earlier from the box art. And that was it. Okay, well, granted, that game is looking very good. It's really cool to have Cranky Kong there, but that's it.
He's not going to sell anything. He's really not going to sell anything. I mean, I see Cranky Kong, I'm like, that's the character I'm going to play when we play 2-player. But I'm like, still probably going to get the game if I get a Wii U at this point. If I get the money for a Wii U, then I'm going to get the game. Cranky Kong. I like Cranky Kong. But, seriously?
You could even see Jeff Keighley asking Reggie, oh, is that it? Is there anything else you have for us? And you can kind of see the hope dying from his eyes. And that kind of
Sure.
represented like, oh, maybe my program I've spent so long hyping is kind of just turning to very little right before me.
Can we move on to the Nintendo Direct? I've got nothing more to say about
This
this.
was sad. This was sad. And if you want a real Game of the Year award show experience, next episode of Show Me Your News. We'll talk about that in my soapbox. But yeah, the Nintendo Direct. Talk about a way to start off, huh?
Yeah. Oh man, I freaking love this Nintendo Direct. Now, I don't really. Just give me a second here to gather my thoughts. I'm still stuck on the VGAs and just why would you think that Cranky Kong would excite the FPS gamers?
Why would you think going to a loiter squad is a good idea when one of them says, yo, sometimes we can sit reverse on a toilet so I can eat and poop at the same time? That's terrible.
It's not even. Why?
That was awful.
But yeah, just. Alright, Nintendo. Why didn't you start with Hyrule Warriors? Not real title. Working title. Name, not final.
Did you see the website that was pulling together any different sort of random thing that'll never happen? Like Metal Gear Zelda.
Metal Gear Zelda, Metal Gear. I got like a couple Metal Gear ones. But yeah. Hyrule Warriors. This is what you should have showed at the VGX.
Mm-hmm.
This is this is Zelda, but it's completely new, and it uses the Dynasty Warriors theme, which we've seen work really well in Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors, Dynasty Warriors Gundam. I'm pretty sure there's another one out there that I don't know of.
They got a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. And, this is what you want to show off. This is, it really, really took on, like, some Wind Waker-esque elements. Some of the monsters there really looked like they were stepping out of Wind Waker. But, on the same token, you have the Dodongos from 64.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got the
red little moblins there were from Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword. Well, Skyward Sword had the somewhat... But yeah, you're right. But yeah, it just really kind of looked good. Now, it did look a little basic, because the red moblins were everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There were no kind of differences.
That's what those games are about, though.
Right. But, like, this is what you wanted to show. You wanted to show one of your big name guys doing something completely new. And, if anything is going to really get the Call of Duty Spike VGA's crowd, it's going to be Link doing something cool.
Yep.
And to have shown off Cranky Kong, it just kind of just makes me go, what's the time difference between the Spike VGAs and the Nintendo Direct that we got Cranky Kong instead of Hyrule Warriors?
11 days?
11 days. I want to say that maybe, I don't know, that Hyrule Warriors is a great concept. It does look like a Rust trailer.
Yeah.
So
yeah, with that font on that black screen and name that final, for sure.
It just like maybe that was made within 11 days. But it looks really cool. That was such a cheesy thing to do, though. The opening up a chest and doing da 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 da, fade to black, white name on black background.
And unfortunately, it is not the Wii U Zelda game. There's still the mainline series game, but this is more of a spin-off, a mashup.
Right. And like I said, it's just, if Nintendo really wanted someone to get someone from the Spike VGAs to be excited, that would have been it.
That would have been it, absolutely. But then you had Kirby Triple Deluxe coming out in 2014, and Kirby Smash Brothers! I'm sorry, Kirby Fighters.
Yeah, like the day-to-day drum beat was weird. Seemed like a fun little distraction, but
kind of like a Harmonite, Theatrhythm, Final Fantasy rhythm game-ish thing.
But the Kirby Fighters, I'm looking at them going, can you do 2v2 on that? Can you do 1v1? If you can do that, I can see a lot of cool things coming from it. Because, 10 different Kirby fighter kind of things, everybody can work the same. it's a very smallish Smash Bros in a way, but I could see it working out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, if it's successful, you can see them, expanding on it in future games. So
I wouldn't go with that.
we'll see how well it'll do.
Yoshi's New Island. Uh,
Tezuka's
I don't
working on
know.
it, so
Yeah,
that's a good
which
thing.
is great. I just look at it and go, it's too much of a mixed art style thing for me. It looks too pastel.
Yeah, with the 3D model of the character and then the pastel background, it's a little jarring.
It is quite jarring. Like, I think it was a really bad idea to show off footage from Super Mario Brothers 2 Yoshi's Island because that's such a pretty game
Yeah.
on a 16-bit console. 32. It's just ah, why does this not look nearly as good? Everything looks weird and somewhat clayish, and there's a lot of nice little things going on in it, but it's not nearly as powerful as it should be. It shouldn't be making me go, I want this, and it's making me go, will my eyes be able to tolerate this?
Now, what's happening with Yoshi's Yarn? Where is that? Don't tell me they canceled that.
I
That
think
would
they
be
can't.
terrible.
I'm thinking right now that they cancel it, or it's just not far enough to be shown in anything more than what it was before. Because, there's a lot of work to be done on just, getting all the base stuff done, so I wouldn't be too surprised if they didn't get enough of it done yet. Especially with all these games.
Now, the tease of, games from the GameCube era,
Oh,
making new
God.
life on 3DS, I'm like, oh my god, what could it be? Is it F-Zero? Is it gonna be Star Fox? Could it be like there's so many
Stairfax
options.
pictures?
Oh, Chibi Robo.
Chip.
Oh, well, that's good, I guess.
Not even. I mean, I think there's someone out there that really loves this game, but I remember going to my local Family Video, the video store, and I saw Chibi Robo. I saw it there a lot. I don't think I've ever seen it rented out
Yeah.
or anything like that. I just remember it was something that existed, and it made me think of, oh, I guess it's one of those, cash grab games. I don't think I would ever rent this. And now that they're trying to really like boost up Chibi Robo, I'm like, so whatever happened to F-Zero?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Stairfax? What happened? Where's my
Eternal
Metroid?
Darkness?
Yeah, I mean, when he said Nin, I'm like, could this be Eternal Darkness? Like, my knee-jerk reaction was, are they announcing Melee on the Wii U Virtual Console? And then he started talking about 3DS, and like,
Oh, jeez.
could this be an Eternal Darkness thing? Because you could do really cool things with the 3D.
No.
Chibi Robo.
The 3D camera, it's going to be an interesting, gameplay aspect to it, but I don't think it's what we were looking for. But, to people out there, that's their jam. Let's see, what other
Pokemon Bank.
is there? Pokemon Bank, yeah, that's the next thing I think.
And the Poke Transporter, and
Get
okay.
Celebi.
Yes. You pay $5 for Celebi.
There you go. And you need a Nintendo Network ID. So if you haven't done that to your 3DS yet, make sure to do so.
Pretty sure I do.
Sonic Lost World getting the DLC. Talking about 90s kids freaking out. Sonic in a Yoshi's zone.
I love this, like, they don't put him in a Mario zone, they put him in a Yoshi zone.
Still, 90s kids like, what is happening here? What is this?
I want to play this game because I think I would enjoy it. And
the other DLC where you will link your Wii U to the eShop next year.
I'm just like, why would he say that when, like, even this picture has a Triforce in it? Like, they show the picture off, and I'm just kind of like, looking at it, I'm like, Triforce, right there.
Yeah.
Why'd you go, where you will link? But, Sonic running around Hyrule sounds like a great time to be had by all, so.
As long as you don't make it like Sonic and the Black Knight, so let's not do that.
Or, you could make a reference to it, give him a sword, just don't make him act like he did.
And then the sword talks. Oh no.
Excalibur. Sorry, what?
Bravely Default is getting the side story demo early in the year on January
That is cool.
That's a good thing.
That is very cool. And little things to help you out with the main game. That's what a demo should be. Because it gives you a reason to get the demo. And then it's like, hey, you get this for the main game. And you're like, well, I mean, why wouldn't I get the main game now? I get to start off already.
NES remix on Wii U, $15, 16
Yeah,
NES
okay.
games, kind of redone versions. They were showing, Link on like a Mario Brothers stage.
Can he even jump? I don't think he can jump. I think that's why they used him, because Link doesn't jump.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that he has six hits to go
Mm-hmm.
instead of not. So
they're just changing up these NES games, and then you also collect stamps for the Miiverse. So that's good. $15, I think, feels like a bit much.
if you could play the actual NES games as they were before,
Yeah.
maybe I would say it's like, hey, that's a great deal. 16 NES games that you had, and they all have these extra things as well. That would be cool. But if it's just the NES remix with all these little challenges without any of the main games, I'm not so sure about that.
Right. Golf comes to Wii Sports Club for $10.
Yeah.
I like how they also used the gamepad on the floor to see the ball and address it, just like the original teaser trailer or a concept trailer for the Wii U.
Right.
That was good to see. Though I'm still waiting for baseball. I'd like to see baseball redone in HD with Motion Plus. But
That'd be
that's-
interesting.
The next game, Dr. Luigi?
It's
That's
Dr.
Dr.
Luigi.
Luigi to you, Mario!
It really looks on the title screen like he has no idea what he's doing here. He's holding both pills and he's just like,
What do?
no one can eat these. So you put it up your oh dear.
Why this game? Why?
It looks like a little fun little diversion though, and since you can, it just is an updated Dr. Mario for your Luigi with extra modes and stuff like that. There's nothing really to hate here.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
Dr. Mario with Dr. Luigi elements and L things to make everything much easier.
Coming the 31st to the eShop for $15 as well. And it continues that year of Luigi into next year.
I'm a Luigi, number one.
They need to do like a year of something every year, I think. I'm totally okay with Year of Rosalina, guys.
Make
it happen.
That'd be fine. That'd be 100% cool with that.
Do that. That'd be great.
I'd also be 100% cool with Year of Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
Little Year of Samus.
Layton and Phoenix Wright on March 28th in Europe. No dice, nothing yet in America. We know it's coming, but no release date yet for the West.
God, it's been years.
It has been. Do you realize that when that game first announced its existence, it was right before our very first Youmacon panel in 2010. That's how long it's been since we've known about Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney.
Okay.
Long ass time.
Okay.
We'll get it. Just like how Layton and the Azran Legacy came out last month in Europe, and we still have to wait until late February for it in America.
You know what?
Europe, you get this one.
You know what? I think they're just giving me time to play both series because I haven't played in either one.
Yeah, do that.
I should. Yeah, I should. I got no excuse. I have a 3DS. I can probably play most everything on there.
Then we got this Rosalina update we already talked about. And I haven't seen this picture before from Nintendo UK that shows Rosalina flying with like galaxy-like powers along with Mario, Fox, and Wii Fit Trainer.
Yeah, that's actually on the website.
Mm-hmm. Wii Fit Trainer must be going like, this is a new way to work out.
I wonder how many calories we're burning.
Do you burn calories in space? Do you?
I
Mario
would
Kart
imagine
8
so.
also, we got a new trailer.
Yeah, that was it was honestly, I wasn't all that excited about that one. It just showed off Mario Kart being Mario Kart. There wasn't anything that jumped out and said, "Hey, look at this." I'm like, "Hey, it's the babies."
It's more
Now,
Rosalina.
if it's the babies, this is Rosalina. I'm just kind of like, is there going to be a connection here? Are we going to see baby Rosalina?
Oh my goodness.
What would be really fantastic is if they didn't go with baby Rosalina, they'd go with like a teen Rosalina, just to show how much older she is by the other by standards.
Yeah.
Because they had that one little story in Galaxy where it talked about like Rosalina's origins, and I'm just kind of like, if we could play that kind of Rosalina in Mario Kart,
Right.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Because she's probably got the best backstory in Mario.
That's why she's the most interesting character. She's my favorite.
Well, she's the only one with a backstory.
Well, I don't think we're going to be seeing necessarily a Luma driving a cart, but you know.
Well, maybe a buggy. Actually, you know what? Looking at this trailer, it really looks like baby Daisy is driving a cheeseburger with eyes.
What are you implying about Daisy there, huh? She
I
not
don't
get
know.
the cheeseburgers.
She like a cheeseburger, this lovely cheeseburger. Oh dear.
Really good Nintendo Direct, though, all in all.
All in all, yes, very good. I know we kind of skipped over Bravely Default too much. I mean, not Bravely Default, but Donkey Kong Country. That's because we kind of did it earlier. Cranky Kong. That's about it.
Cranky Kong!
Also, the trailer I saw outside of this direct of Tropical Freeze, I looked at the big bad, and I'm just kind of like, they keep him in shadow, but he has this giant mustache, and I'm just kind of like, walrus.
It's got to be a walrus.
It's like, all right, it's either a walrus, Dr. Eggman, or Jamie Heineman.
Can it be all of the above fused
I
together?
would love. I recently made this post on Twitter, or either that or a Tumblr that I had, but like, we are running out of time in this world to run an actual Sonic the Hedgehog movie because Jamie Heineman will not stay young forever.
This is true.
And out of everyone in the entire world, Jamie Heineman needs to play Dr. Robotnik. He's got the mustache, and he's got the smarts. He could literally teach people how to do things in the middle of the movie. I wouldn't mind. And he wants to explode everything.
Exactly.
But yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze. Jamie Heineman is the walrus villain.
Cranky Kong! Cranky Kong!
Oh, Cranky Kong. I'm gonna have fun with that character. I also noticed that Dixie does not control the same way she used to. Instead of like hovering, she now just has this weird double jump thing. Like she has a double jump, and Cranky has a high jump, and Diddy has a hover.
Yeah.
And I'm like, those are all pretty cool. And I look over at DK, I'm like, all right, DK, what can you do? Donkey Kong.
Oh, you're boring.
Normal.
Normal.
If I have to play single player, I have to play as you. Why can't you do anything?
That seems silly.
Yeah, and you know, it really like those trailers really showed off that Cranky Kong, Dixie, and Diddy have to be tied to Donkey Kong, which really annoys me.
That's too bad.
Why can't I play as Diddy and Dixie? Why can't I play as Cranky and Dixie and see? Why can't they just do that?
Game looks gorgeous, though.
Yeah, game looks really good. Just you have the mark and you just miss it by that much.
So this is the mic cover for Wii U as our hilarity of the week. Do we have any guesses what it's for?
Wii U karaoke.
It is for karaoke. So the idea is that this is in Japan. Of course, it's in Japan. And it is a cover for your microphone that you would put up to your mouth.
No.
And so when you sing in the microphone, You are not as loud to your neighbors in Japanese housing, so you're not as distracting. So you're singing into this cylindrical, cone-ish shaped object that attaches.
It's a plunger.
It's totally a plunger. Look at that.
Like if you look at a just a picture of this thing, and I'm looking at an actual picture of it being used, and I'm like, this is either a plunger or a Dalek, or this is about to turn into a hentai. This is what this thing looks like. Okay, it is not good.
Look at this.
And yeah,
I'm
I'm assuming you're showing the picture. I can't load the stream.
I'm showing the version that they had for the Wii, which just shows someone else using this. Oh my goodness.
I'm just you feel dirty looking at this is what I'm saying. Because it's either a plunger, which makes you feel dirty and squicky, or it's some weird Japanese. I've seen enough anything to know where this is going.
Yeah.
This is what this is, and either way you look at it, it's just dirty.
So normal conversation is apparently around 60 decibels as far as volume, and singing is usually around 80 decibels. So what this does is knocks the 80 down to 60, but how do you breathe in this thing? Unless you detach it from your mouth to breathe and then go right back to plunge your mouth.
Here's a good picture, if you can load that up for them, of what this really is.
So let's see what you've got here. Oh. Yep.
There you go.
That is a good example of what it is.
Yep.
You got the head and the thing that attaches to your face. I've never seen a cross section of a face hugger before.
You're welcome for that.
That's different.
Gross. Yeah, it's gross.
So this is the thing.
That's what this is. Honestly, it is a face hugger. And I'm sorry that this exists.
But that's why we have to talk about it.
Mm.
We get into our story pool, and we are about 1 month into the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 sales, and let's see how it's doing. According to VG charts, we're about 2.4 million for PlayStation 4 and 1.8 million for Xbox One. Now this is before PS4 has gone on sale in Japan, and Sony is set to dominate Japan. So once that happens, and I believe February, look for those to kind of separate a little bit more. But it's pretty good that they've got off to this hot start, and Wii U is sitting there with an additional year, and PS4 is past the halfway point to Wii U.
Yes.
Within a month.
Yes, and not entirely surprised in any way, shape, or form. There's just no killer apps for the Wii U, except for it just got its own killer app.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, what does the Xbox One have? What does the PS4 have right now?
They don't have too much as far as must plays right now. So wait until they get those.
Yeah, and I mean, this is part of a broader point. Why the hell are all these systems out? There are no killer apps for them. So why do I don't feel a need to get these consoles? And that's the problem. When they come out, you need the need. You have to have the thirst for these consoles, and you don't have them.
It's that malicious catch-22 of need the sales to make the games, but need the games to drive the sales.
Yep.
So.
And you got neither. So.
YouTube has kind of been a mess within the past few weeks with their change of the content ID system. They've expanded it to more content partners, and videos have been claimed so that, it cannot be monetized for rather absurd things.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of people are losing a lot of everythings everywhere.
Mm-hmm. This is definitely a problem for those who make their living on YouTube, and it brings up a whole mess of an argument that is just naive and foolish of, well, maybe they should get real jobs. And
Excuse me?
they can F off.
Yeah. Literally a pause, stop, raise eyebrow, excuse me, followed by a roundhouse kick to the face
Mm-hmm. I
or some
mean,
weak part of their body.
music or sound effects in the background, and these things that are being claimed doesn't even seem to be, the appropriate content provider. You have some game makers who are trying to fight back and, grant this, kind of fight this system. So good for them. But the really tricky part about this is it's not illegal what YouTube is doing. They are technically following legal protocol. It is an issue that they are going against fair use with the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, but that's not anything new. That's been happening for years. What these companies are doing by claiming the content ID, it's not taking the content down, but it's preventing the people who make money on YouTube from making the money on the offending videos. And it's one thing to say that YouTube is doing something wrong here and that it has to stop, but the unfortunate part is that they're within their legal right to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes it such a very tricky, muddy, messy situation, that you do see the valid points that each side is making. And you do want these people who make money online doing what they love to do, creating content for their viewers, which is a legitimate job in a changing digital media environment that people who are stuck in old ways see as threatening and abnormal. You absolutely want those kind of jobs to continue.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a
We're in
mess. Sorry, go ahead.
We're in a very strange and messy transitional era for a lot of things right now. Everything's in transition, and you know, you kind of get that every year. You can say you're always in transition, but I don't think that's entirely true because, we're transitioning from old ways before the internet and trying, the digital rights. You just said it a second ago.
Digital Millennium Copyright Act.
Yeah, right. That was done years ago.
1998, I believe.
Yeah, there's a lot more things on the internet now, and there's a lot more subcategories that thing never even thought it was going to be. I don't know what we can do at this point, except for we'll kind of wait it out.
Yeah, it's also kind of a faulty system in a way that YouTube has going, because when they make the claims, YouTube doesn't go over it. It's all bot based. Bots can make mistakes. You don't have people looking over this and say, if a game creator has his own trailer taken down on his own channel, is that a problem?
Yeah,
I think that's where it can be revised and refined and all that. But
what I don't understand is why they've allowed these bots this amount of control, because these are jobs that are waiting to be made. People within their own companies, within YouTube, send these bots out to flag videos for people to go and run the legal system and run what needs to be done.
That's what
they
should
look
be
at the
done.
video. Yeah, what should be done is these bots are technically doing a good job in one way, but the problem is we've given them the full power to shut the thing down once enough check marks have been, and it only takes one check mark now to bring down a video or change everything to go so this gets monetized for this person instead of the person who did all the work.
Yeah, if you flagged it for a human reviewer to look it over and say, is this worth, taking action against? That would be, I think, a good solution. But yeah, the way they have it done is that the bot gives the power to be, judge, jury, and executioner in a sense. And as a result of that, you're coming across several problems.
Mm-hmm.
That's really frustrating.
Yeah, I just don't think our legal system is prepared. It has not. It's trying. We hear about these things all the time, but we're talking about a government right now that is trying to pass SOPA again or whatever they call it.
Yep.
CISPA, SOPA.
Yeah, and when you're having trailers that the game makers release to the
Mm-hmm.
media to be used in reviews, and that's becoming their distribution, that is frustrating. It's
Mm-hmm.
absolutely frustrating. But YouTube doesn't want any legal action taken against them. That's why they bend over backwards or just plain bend over,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't see much of an issue in fighting
Which is
the
weird
user.
considering this is
Right.
this is Google who owns YouTube. So I mean there's two things here. Number one, it's Google. It's so huge. They could probably fight and win. And on the second part, it's I've gone and forgotten it. Goddamn. I had two good points now, but still, it's still Google.
Hmm.
Uh, if Google shuts down, if someone wants to attack Google, Google can, you know, shut
Yeah.
down. It's like, all right, fine. Your company's no longer allowed to use Gmail. You're not going to be showing up on any search results. Google has a lot of power here, and Google has I mean, their mantra right now is "Don't be evil," and this whole YouTube thing is definitely making them showcase themselves as a little evil.
It's a mess right now, and it's just starting, and we'll keep an eye on how it develops, but this is kind of where it all started. So it's kind of frustrating there. Disney buys Indiana Jones because they keep swallowing up LucasArts and they keep becoming the fat media behemoth that they are.
Speaking of evil,
Definitely evil.
uh, yeah, I don't really don't care.
Does it mean they're going to
I
make another movie? Is J.J. Abrams going to make Indiana Jones 5?
I'd rather him than what happened with 4.
That's true.
4, I mean, I'm in the minority to say 4 is not that bad. I mean, swinging monkey scene aside, it's not that bad, and it's still campy as hell like the old ones were, and it was just a fun little romp. I didn't care much for Sheila Booth, but it's Sheila Booth.
Shia LaBeouf.
Sheila Booth. But
Refrigerator nuke.
Refrigerator Nuke, it is just in line with everything else that happens in this series. Okay,
Oh, see, they
freaking
have it right there.
freaking boat out of an airplane. I can stand up to the refrigerator nuke. I just what it is. I think it's hilarious that they even tried to pass it off as more realistic when he gets in it and it just goes in on the sticker that says lead lined fridge. I think that's hilarious and funny. A lot of people are like, I don't get it. It's not realistic. How does he survive with no broken bones? I'm just kind of like, it's Indiana Jones. What are you expecting?
Yeah.
Indiana Jones was a send up to old B movies. The fact that he survives refrigerator nuke, I'm totally okay with this. But there are some stupid scenes in there, and I can understand your hate for those stupid scenes because they are uproariously stupid. But if you're just kind of if you're sitting down and going, "Oh man, I can't wait to relive my childhood," and you don't go at it with your whole, with your mentality of being a child, you're not gonna like it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Indiana Jones was, family friend, not exactly the most family friendly of things, but we generally did see them when we were about 12, 13. That's when I first saw some of them.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen all of them actually, but I've seen bits and pieces throughout my life.
So
I
after
do
a
lots.
Fallout website was revealed to be a hoax, Kotaku came across documents that were for casting for what is likely Fallout 4 that takes place in Boston at MIT. I mean, scripts say war never changes. That's kind of the line. Just trying to see how that develops. Just pointing it out here that Fallout 4 is very likely a thing. In this age of internet information and things being leaked, we may have come across a scoop here. Just like how they came across the scoop for Telltale's Game of Thrones. And then that was apparently a world premiere at VGX. And the Steam Winter Sale's begun. So, rest in peace, wallets.
Yeah. Well, I have no money anyway.
Haha, you beat the system. Oh, wait.
I have no money and a computer that won't run them.
Out recently is Tiny Brains, the 4-player co-op adventure game with little.
It's always nice to see
little gerbils.
Little gerbils, little tiny brain gerbils. Played by a little tiny brain steamrolled.
They all have special powers, and you help them accomplish tasks. Gran Turismo 6 out for PlayStation 3.
Cars.
Yay, cars. And Peggle 2 on Xbox One. That's just more of the same kind of Peggle, like I said in my What Are You Playing? But that's a good thing if you like the first one. Project M 3.0, we love. And The Walking Dead.
Do keep an eye on Super Smash Sundays kind of things. That's when Project M is doing. They release little things out. Check an eye on their Reddit. The last topic's still up from before. They have a video. It showcases different mods for stages, like Temple of Time over WarioWare. A lot, and that one looks really good. But they have a lot of edits and texture edits and all that other fun stuff for their new stages, because as everyone should know, a lot of the stages were overhauled for faster cameras, different blast zones, so all your old textures don't really work.
Interesting.
And what they're doing right now is that they've got a team working on the side little projects to bring in some of the really popular stuff, like the Caribbean Dreamland beach stage. But this is all side project stuff, but it's kind of endorsed by the Project M team.
Nice.
That's really cool.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And then also the Walking Dead Season 2 had its first episode come out. And I've been wanting to play that, but...
A friend of mine has been singing its praises.
Well, it's good. It's good to hear. You get to play as Clementine, which is a nice change of pace.
I hear you get to take her in different directions if you want to. So for how she gets to be played as, like, between victim or just badass little kid.
Very, very interesting. Can't wait. Our soapbox. I haven't been able to play games like I've wanted to lately because of work on our Show Me Your News Game of the Year Awards, which I can announce today. I have planned for Sunday, January 5th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time to be the live airing of the Game of the Year Awards. It's been tough with traveling to New Orleans, and now I'm traveling for a week out for Christmas to Delaware. This is time where I'm away from my computer, where I have all of the project work and all of the files saved for Game of the Year progress, and I just can't work on it. Like, I'm just completely detached. It's going to be nice to see family and all, but there is a lot of work still to do. Still several people that I need lines from for their presentations. We need work on bits, but everything's in general coming together. And I think when I get back a week from today, that should be enough time that for January 5th, we should have that ready to go. And keep an eye out soon for the red carpet special. I know we're going to need people to do voices for the characters that the Rubaga and Mop Top meet out on the red carpet, so keep an eye out on that on our forums. We have 5 musical numbers this year. Yeah, it's about the same as last year, but they're quite good. You guys know of one. We had that at our Youmacon panel. That's the ending musical number. This year, the opening... Darker Eye and I have been working on it. It's mostly his doing writing. But I think lyrically it's one of the best we've ever done. Though it is tough to beat the Pony one, Find a Game. A couple of years ago. That one was something special. I'll give you that. So, but
we've got so many more ponies to choose from.
I think we're right up there, though, as far as an opening number. It's very peppy. very deserving of an opening number. And I'm not sure if many people have heard the original song. It's something I had not heard of, but when you hear about what it's from, gosh, I'm trying to be so vague. I know it's a pain in the ass. When you hear what it's from, you're like, okay, I can understand how that would be a thing. And it makes sense that the song is catchy. You think...
Rhythm Heaven Fever? No.
You think musical.
Oh!
I'm not sure if it's Broadway.
It probably is.
But it probably is. So you can think...
I'd guess, but if I guess it right, I don't want to.
Now I'm curious. What do you think?
Well, I mean, off the bat, I immediately think of Wicked.
It's not Wicked.
Okay. Book of Mormon?
It's not Book of Mormon.
Really? Okay.
Those would be the popular ones. In fact, I didn't know that this was a musical. But...
Lion King?
It's based... Here, I'll tell you this. It's based off of a movie. The musical is based off of a movie. And we're doing the opening number from that. So if you're smart enough to figure it out from that, kudos to you. We're really excited for it. And all of the other musical numbers and bits and the people presenting. And there's a lot of stuff to get ready for the Game of the Year Awards. But January 5th, we're excited to get ready for that date. So keep an eye on our Facebook page. Our Facebook page will soon have the event there, so you can RSVP and get that on your calendar. That's my soapbox.
It's a good soapbox.
Mm-hmm. A lot of teases.
Yeah. Mine's just gonna be real basic this time. Okay. Have you seen Frozen?
Not yet.
Go see it. I saw it actually on my own. Probably one of my worst decisions, to be honest, but I was planning on going with friends when they all bailed on me.
Oh, hate that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm just kind of like, you know what? No, I'm still gonna see this movie. I've heard it's good. And I was really interested to see how they do what would basically end up as being two strong female leads. You know, sisters. They haven't really done anything, sisters in a while. Last time I saw sisters from Disney, I think, was Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
So it was I was really curious about what was going to happen, and oh my god, what a good movie! I mean, it's got its typical Disney fare, but like, you see it coming because they introduce everything that's typical Disney. They introduce it right off the bat, so nothing comes out of nowhere. You see it coming, you prepare yourself mentally for it, so when it happens, all you're doing is having fun. And it's a lot of drama, a lot of comedy. There's a point where a character goes, "Oh, I seem to have been impaled." And he just seems just perfectly okay with this.
Is this the one that's based off of the Snow Queen?
It is. And that was a good story, and this is just a fantastic story. I would easily say that it's... I mean, I never really cared for Beauty and the Beast, so it doesn't mean much when I say it's better than that. But I did grow up with Lion King, and I'm just kind of like, I would definitely put Frozen up there with the Lion King. Very, very good.
Okay, good to know. My favorite is still Aladdin. So.
Aladdin is very good. Aladdin is very, very good, and I always feel bad when I think about Aladdin because of what the old Disney execs did to Robin Williams at the time.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it was a good show.
What's your YouTube video recommendation to wrap up the show here?
Ain't Wasted No More Time, a Game Grumps remix.
Aha.
Love that. And it's a little bit NS, not safe for work. But it's Game Grumps, so it's about as not safe for work as Game Grumps is. So, it's pretty tame for not safe for work, but it's really, really catchy. And you don't really... You know what they're saying, and you have no idea why they're saying it, but it doesn't matter because it's the color of the game. But
Exactly.
It's you don't need them to make sense for it to have a good time. Spill the beans on the floor.
I have two videos. Speaking of Game Grumps,
Mm-hmm.
Aaron and Danny, as well as Ninja Brian from Ninja Sex Party, made a band, if you can call it a band, a musical group called Starbomb. Their album's doing quite well on Amazon and iTunes charts. And they made a music video that Ego Raptor directed and animated for their song Luigi's Ballad. Really catchy song.
Really catchy song. I really enjoyed the Luigi bits. The Mario bits,
I agree.
they're fun, but like I would really like a full version of just the Luigi stuff.
I agree.
And the print and the Peach stuff. The
Rachel
the
Bloom, the vocalist, very
yeah.
talented.
Wow, that was so good. And there's actually a small little bit like there's a point where in the video it shows like Peach is singing her lungs out,
Yeah.
but the Rachel Bloom is so talented. It didn't sound like it was anything for her to do. She just belted that line out, and you could just imagine her just leaning back and going, "Yeah, that came out of me. Whatever."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And like, but in the scene, it shows her out of breath, and I'm just kind of like, a little bit of a difference.
It doesn't sound like that would be what actually happened.
Yeah, but it was very fun.
A good animation. You know, it's Ego Raptor style, but it's fluid and it.
Ego Raptor style is probably one of the best styles I've ever seen, though, because he's just the movements themselves, faces, stuff like that. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's great. Definitely give it a listen and a watch. And then also Mega 64 on their website and via Blip, so it's not really YouTube, but put out a kind of a 10-year, recollection, look back sort of thing, kind of telling their story.
A little bit.
Which is a video that they showed at one of their convention panels.
Apparently they showed at a couple of them, but...
Yeah. And they usually have a rule that they don't show those things, so it's kind of like a bonus for those who are there. But they apparently got a lot of feedback on this one, and it's set to Daft Punk's Touch from the new Random Access Memories album, or the recent, I should say, it came out this year, but several months ago. It's set to song Touch, and it's edited really well and very appropriate for their story and to the beats of the song and the moods of that song, which definitely fluctuates a lot. So give it a watch. I'll have it linked in the show notes. Even if you don't know who Mega 64 are, I think it's a really interesting video just to watch.
Yeah, I watched it, and I kind of I fell for the guys. I mean, I've never really cared for Mega 64, but I've known who they are, and I respect their work. Just never been my type of humor. But I respect what they do.
Part of it too is just seeing like the dedication throughout the 10 years. And
there is some serious dedication, and Touch will show you that, and I would agree with that recommendation.
Awesome. Well, we've got things to get to. We just found some time to fit in a podcast, and now we go back to gearing up for holidays and work and
snow
and ice.
Apparently it's still clear though, so at least I get to go to work without having to worry anything.
I still have to pack, so
oops,
that'll be fun. You have any fun holiday Christmas plans?
Not entirely. I mean, we might have been going to Chicago, but that's not going to happen this year for reasons. And so probably just going to do what we did last year, have some of the family come Christmas Eve. I work Christmas, so. It's fine, though. I work 4 p.m. Christmas. That's when Christmas stops being, the holiday Christmas and starts being the day that I get paid double.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that'll be fine.
Yeah. We have our basement. The entertainment center stuff is up. It's not like fully in the right places yet, though. But it's functional. And It looks really nice.
Well, you could take a picture of it today, or you can do it at the airport or whatever you're gonna do for your picture a day.
I do lots of pictures. No, though we're driving out to the East Coast tomorrow.
Oh, Oh!
Yeah, that's going to be
See,
tons of fun.
I get to say that I'm right behind you in a way because I'm going to be driving off to New Jersey in January
Mm-hmm. That's right,
for a
for
weekend
Apex.
for Apex, and current plans are I'm picking up Major Moses along the way,
Nice.
and
I know
I don't know.
Darkrai wants to go, or he's
And
registered.
yeah, Darkrai is registered, and you know plans are I'm crashing there at Darkrai's. I don't know what Moses is doing. That I don't. Not gonna say anything on air about the where he's staying or anything like that because I don't want to force anything. But
But
it's gonna be.
we're going
It's
over
gonna.
to my parents' place tonight to celebrate my mom's birthday, which was on Wednesday, and then
Oh.
just staying the night, getting up very early tomorrow. 10-hour drive out to Delaware. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see Bailey again.
I do get to see Bailey and Mac, both doggies.
You have another doggy.
Yeah, we got another dog several months ago.
Oh.
It's a lab and an Australian shepherd. No, that's not right. Some lab and shepherd mix. It's just a big, strong, blonde-haired dog. It was a little unruly, but otherwise.
You don't live there. You don't live there.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta get him a little more under control, though, for when parents decide that we get to house sit dogs at our place, which will be also interesting. Whenever that
Along the
happens.
Entertainment Center.
We're getting way off topic. Anyway, we're excited for the Show Me News Game of the Year Awards. We hope you are too. That'll be our next episode, the Sesquicentennial episode 150.
Don't ask me to pronounce that.
That's my job. So, with that, coming January 5th, I am Yoko.
I'm super.
And we're out. Have a happy holidays.